Welcome to 9 Point Started With a Dream podcast. Our goal is to showcase the stories of athletes and the community that supports them by being authentic about their journey. Here's your host, Jacoby Gillum.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, as always, Jacoby Gillum. This episode, we have Justin Ricks, and what's good about Justin's story is because we can't always be the athlete. You know, we all have a dream, to go NBA, WNBA, MLB, NFL, but sometimes that just isn't our storyline, that isn't our purpose. And what Justin realized at an early age that he wasn't going to be that guy in the league, as the athlete. But he's like, you know what, I can be an agent, I can be a manager, I can be a part of helping that athlete achieve their dream on that court. And he went about that, and it wasn't easy, it wasn't given to him. So he kind of took it step by step. So great story here, great journey here, and something that you can really inspire to do yourself. So let's get to it. Justin, the question I think when it comes on is, when you were younger as an athlete, what's your dream and goal you want to achieve?
Man, of course, the number one goal every athlete wants to make it to the NBA. But, as I've been playing basketball since I was in third grade, I was by far was not the best on the team. Probably wasn't the best on any team I played on. You know what I mean? And but I was a student. I just used to love being around the game. I loved it, man, as much as possible. I used to love being in practice. I used to just love being around it. And when I got to high school, I started to become realistic. Like, man, you're not going to get a college scholarship. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these college coaches, they coming in to see your best friends. So, I started thinking about, like, different ways I could just really be and stay around the game. And at that point, like, I remember I was getting out of practice one day, and our coach, like, we had, like, a crappy practice. We was just, like, just going through the motions. And our coach was like, man, I don't know why y'all taking this, taking this for granted, because a lot of y'all, this is going to be y'all last year ever playing basketball. A lot of y'all not getting a college scholarship. A lot of y'all may not make it to the NBA. So it just kind of hit me. And at that point, I was like, man, I'm either going to be an agent or a GM, and I remember I used to tell everybody, whoever would listen, I would tell them, like, I'm going to be an agent or a GM. And I really believed that, you know what I mean? And so, what I did was I went to Grambling State. And when I was there, I still tried to stay around the game. And, I was still, talking to a lot of my friends that was playing basketball in college and, still just kind of, trying to study the business. And it ended up landing me a job with the Memphis Grizzlies. And I felt like that was, like, probably the best thing to happen, because the unique thing about working with the Grizzlies, everything was in one location. Unlike most NBA teams, the basketball operations, the business operations, and the practice facility was pretty much in the same building. So any given time, you could see Lionel Hollins or the GM in the break room. You know what I mean? So, like, and my manager at the time, who was over the sales and marketing department, like, every month he would have, like, maybe a player or, like, a scout, or sometimes Lionel Hollins come and speak to, like, the sales and marketing staff. And, like, I took that to my advantage. I was like, all right, he came and spoke to us. I introduced myself to him. So when I see him doing game day, or when I see him around the building, I'm going to speak to him, period. So I used to, like, see certain people, and I speak to them, and I just ask them questions. And I remember my best friend, who ended up becoming my first client when I became an agent, he had a free agent workout with the Grizzlies coming up. And I remember I went to the GM, and I just introduced myself, like, man, what's going on? My name's Justin. I'm going to be an agent one day. And he probably looking like, man, who the hell is this kid come talking to me about being an agent? You know what I mean? But I'm looking like, man, it's only 30 GMs. So I know he probably talked to a lot of agents in his lifetime. So I'm going to befriend him and try to ask questions, because I realized, man, if you ask questions, man, if you ask the right questions, you'll get the answers. You know what I mean? And after I left the Grizzlies, man, I got certified, and, my best friend became my first client. And, the first year and a half, man, I just learned as much as I can. I probably only had like 2 clients at the time. I really wasn't trying to just sign a lot of guys. I always kind of put it in the term of a record label. You don't want to sign a lot of artists and you can't have none of them release an album. So What I did was I just did it backwards. And what I mean by that is, like, I would go to Portsmouth Summer League. I go as many places as possible, LinkedIn, Facebook, and just get connected with coaches, general managers, you know what I mean? So whenever I do started to sign players, I would have jobs to give them to help them build their careers, you know? So.
No, man, that's good because it kind of paint the picture of of the progression, you know, and so to kind of going back to like the early years, you know, when you realize, all right, I'm not going to be the guy that, you know, that like the gets that offers, cost whatever it may be. But for you, when you're trying to figure out this agent thing, right? So, like you say, you told everybody about it, right? Well, they might be like, nah, man, you can do it.
Right,
You know,
right.
you come in rural Louisiana, you ain't gonna make it out there.
Right.
How'd you approach that?
Man, honestly, like, cause I heard that a lot. You know what I mean? Like, man, you know, man, coming from where we come from, it's no agents around here, man. Like, what are you talking about? And the first player that from my era that made it to the NBA was Paul Millsap. But before my era, you know, we always had basketball players, Benoit Benjamin. Bill Russell was actually from Monroe, Louisiana before he migrated to Oakland. So we always had like athletes, but on the business tip, we never had nobody. So, you know, you're right. When I used to tell people like I'm gonna be an agent, people would really look like, man, this dude tripping. Like, how is he gonna be an agent? But I really felt like I could do anything. I really feel that way, like right now. You know what I'm saying? When they say, you know, you can do all things through Christ, I really believe that scripture. Like, man, I could do whatever I put my mind to. You know what I mean? And it may be a journey. I may not get it overnight, but I always play the long game in everything I do, you know? So I think one of the biggest things that just kept me going, man, was really my confidence. You know what I'm saying? And like interviews. You know, I used to listen to interviews of AI. I used to listen to interviews of Kobe. I used to listen to interviews of Lil Wayne. Like, you know, three people that really influenced me. Listen to interviews of Master P. You know, listen to interviews of Malcolm X. And all five of them people, Bob Marley, like all these people got one thing in common, like they belief. Kobe felt like I was gonna be the best in the world. Lil Wayne was like, I'm gonna be the greatest rapper alive. Master P was like, I'm gonna be the best businessman. And it's like nobody could penetrate their belief. I just took on that mentality. You know what I mean? Like, man, listen, Jay, like if this what you want to do, you got to stand firm on it, and you really got to dedicate everything to it. Because if I just say I'm gonna be an agent without putting the actions behind it, then I'm just another person out here with a pipe dream.
Yeah.
But like what I started doing was because at the time I had a full-time job. You know what I mean? So like when I get out of work, I used to dedicate like an hour and a half to just studying, looking at contracts. You know, it's all public domain. Certain things are public domain. You know what I mean? And just asking questions again. Like I said, when I work for the Grizzlies, you know, if I bump into one of the scouts, I'm asking them, man, how do you evaluate talent? You know what I mean? What goes into making a decision? What goes into roster changes? And like these people used to, you know, I'm sure I shocked them because they like, who the hell is he? You know what I mean? But they would give me the free game. And but to answer your question in short, man, I think just having that confidence and that belief in myself, you know.
Like when you ask them questions, they're probably like, this dude isn't asking for a job. He's asking for knowledge to help get the job.
Yep. Yeah, that's it, man. Because I feel like our job just is really like, I always try to break it down like this. A job it's like fuel, right? Kind of like gas in the car, get you from point A to point B. But I feel like your work, that's like your passion. You know what I mean? And it's like you'll do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you start to make money from it, it doesn't even feel like it's work because it's something you love to do. You know what I mean? So like with me, this doesn't even feel like work. Like this feels like something that I always wanted to do. And I don't even like looking at myself like I don't even like you would probably hear me use the term manager more than the agent. Cause I always be telling my guys, I'd be like, look, man, I'm not selling you life insurance. You know what I mean? I'm not putting a roof over it. I'm not, giving you window shade insurance. Like I'm really your manager. You know what I mean? I'm here to service you. And I feel like one of the things that I realize is important is relationships. You know what I mean? Like if I don't have a relationship with you, I don't even want to do business with you because it's only going to be that, just business. But I want to get to know you as a man. You know what I mean? I want to get to know you as a person. Like, you know, like what keeps you up at night? What motivates you? You know what I mean? Why are you doing this besides the money? You know what I mean? What are your goals on the court and off the court? and that's just like those are just certain things that I've learned, like throughout my years of what really makes a good manager. You know what I mean? And I realized that I've been that way my whole life. Like just even with a lot of my friends. Like now that I think about it, when I was in high school, when my friends was contemplating what colleges they were gonna go to for scholarship offers, like they would call and ask me. You know what I mean? Hey Jay, what you think I should do? I'm looking at option A and option B. Tell me the pros and cons. What's your thoughts? And I'm realizing, like, man, you was really kind of practicing back in those days, and you didn't even realize it.
Mm-hmm. So for you, you're. I can tell by the team that you kind of have a heart for the athlete. You aren't doing it to have that association. Like, I'm in the sports business. You were like, no, I want to do this for my guys to make sure they're right.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, cause I really wasn't in it for the popularity or the notoriety, and cause I even think back, like when I was working with the Grizzlies, and I always go back to that job or that time because that time was a lot for me. It meant a lot to me. I'm coming. You got to think. I went from living in Grambling, Louisiana, a small town. You know what I mean? Living in an apartment where I probably eat noodles and hot pockets for dinner. You know what I'm saying? To 3 months later, I'm working in the NBA and I got a suit on and I'm walking around the arena and I got access, but I didn't let that get to me. I didn't let that get to my head. You know what I'm saying? Because I just always thought back like, damn, like man, like it's a blessing to be here, but I want more. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't like the end all be all for me. Like this is just the beginning. And I feel like just being humble and just thinking back to the struggle kept me focused on the goal. Cause I could have got there and been like, man, you know what? Man, the hell with it, man. I'm just gonna work here for the rest of my life and be good. But I'm like, nah, I want to be an agent, and I don't. I'm more of like a. I look at myself as being low key. Like I don't really like
Being a light.
I don't like the light, man. Like if you look at like a lot of my guys, they clown me about my IG. They be like, man, bro, your IG like a dinosaur on IG, man. Like you need to post more. That's what the young boys like. I'm like, all right, cool, but I just like to move in silence. But again, to get back on track to your question, yeah, I mean, I really don't care about the fame, because one thing about the fame and the glamour and all that, like it's only temporary, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like you know, the light and the fame it's a temporary satisfaction because it's gonna be a revolving door. You're not gonna be the last person that walked through this door to the light. It's gonna be somebody else behind you, and then it's gonna be somebody else behind him. So if you're only in it for that, then when the light and the fame and the notoriety, when it leaves you, I mean, you morally effed up. You know what I mean? So excuse my words. So I try not to. I even tell a lot of my guys, like, don't really get too caught up in it. Just focus on the goal. Don't ever focus on like the things that don't really matter. You know what I mean? Like the fame and the light, because that could be like a detrimental thing to somebody. It could make you or break you.
Yeah. So kind of like I was an intern for the Thunder when I was in college, right? And like I was doing like I was a sales intern. So that first game when I had the suit on and like I had like all the credentials on, man, I off the building, I was like strutting a little bit. I was feeling good. I was like, yo. I was thinking fans and stuff. They're like, dang, who's this dude? But I'm like 5'8", so it wasn't like a player, But for you, that first game when you like walked in the arena, how'd it feel?
I ain't gonna lie, man. I felt it was like it felt surreal, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, because for a minute, that light hit you.
Mm-hmm.
It hits you for a minute,
Yeah. I put on Snapchat like that game. I was like, yo, I'm at the arena. I was putting it on Instagram, my story. I was like, yo, this is where I'm at,
That's when I first got on Instagram because I remember the first game. I mean, I was so like just dinosaurs, man. Like I didn't have a Twitter. And I remember everybody just, was on their phone, the IG, and I was like, man, I gotta get me one of them. I gotta show my folks back home what's going on. But no, opening night, because I'm not really gonna count the preseason. So I'm gonna say opening night was when it really hit me. like opening night, I remember it was just so much anticipation because like the Grizzlies, they had just came off like they best, like one of the best years. I think like a 57 game win season. So it was like a lot of anticipation just throughout the city. You know, a lot of people was a lot of businesses they wanted to partner with us. You know how it is when you hide, everybody want to be around you. The fame, the light.
Yeah.
But so it was just anticipation, and we actually sold out opening night. So I remember like putting a suit on, and I'm real crafty with them suits, man. Like I went to a store called KMG. I got 2 suits for $80, but and then I went to Marshalls and I bought like 5 shirts for like $50, and I got like 2 ties, but I dressed it up where it looked like a $500 suit. So I'm just strutting through there. I got my shoes on that I got from Marshall. So I'm just like, man, like I'm here, like I arrived, you know what I mean? But it just did something to me because I was like, damn, like man, I was just talking about this like years ago. And I'm like, man, like I'm here. I may not be an agent walking through this arena, but I'm like this is a step closer. So it really felt like surreal. And that's when I think that's when I realized like the power of the mind was was really a strong organ that was like gifted to us from God. You know what I mean? And if we use it right, we can get whatever we want if we don't have no hidden agendas. And I think that's what pushed me to like really, really take that leap of faith, man, to pursue it, to like stay firm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. I love you said, the power of the mind. If you have no hidden agendas.
Yeah, because man, those agendas, man, they there depending on who you meet. You know, so, you know, and I realize like I try to be as straightforward and as honest as possible. You know what I mean? Like if I can do something, I can. If I can't do it, I can't do it. I'll try, but if I can't do it, I can't do it. And if I'm not good at it, then maybe I should partner with somebody that is. And I feel like just being transparent and being open and honest saved me a lot of time, not just in this business, but in life. You know what I mean? Because, you know, you tell one lie, you got to tell two, and you got to keep it going. You know what I mean? So, like, I try not to have a hidden agenda. You know, I try to make my agenda as clear as possible because we all got agendas. You know, we go to a meeting, they say, okay, the agenda for this meeting is X, Y, and Z. You know, the agenda for this interview is X, Y, and Z. So, you know, my agenda, man, is to make sure that you have a great quality of life. You know what I mean? Make sure that you elevate every year. You know, make sure that when you finish playing basketball that you can maintain the same quality of life. You know, make sure that you grow as a person. You know, I got people that's been around me, man, that I've seen evolve. You know, I'm not going to take all the credit and say, you know, it was because of me, but, you know, I feel like I have some strong influence. You know, I have guys that, you know, have became married. I have guys that became better fathers. You know what I mean? I have guys that, you know, became better at managing their money, you know, better with investments because, you know, I want to get to know you. I want to get in your business. I want to really see like what I can do to help benefit a situation and what can I do to help you grow. So
Love that. For you, it isn't transactional. You know, it's not like it isn't like, hey, I just want my 5% and do and go on. You're like, nah, I want to be there inside your life and be a part of your development.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, you know, basketball, the game is basketball is it's a blessing. Like, well, I'm not even gonna say basketball. I'm gonna say sports. It's a blessing. You know, sports has taken care of a lot of families. You know, I always say respecting the game. You respect the game gonna respect you. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's more to negotiating the contract. Like, you know, I'm not here to talk about most agents and then our managers, but you know, the good ones, because there's a lot of good ones that I look up to that I study. Some I never met, but I study them. You know what I mean? They set the path for me. But the good ones that I study are they're great, and the real job starts after negotiating the contract. We all know, man, with the right player, there's what are you negotiating? Every term pretty much dictated. You know, you just probably negotiating the language, the provisions, the triggers, certain things like that. But for the most part, the real work for me begins off the court, outside of negotiating the contract. And I learned that firsthand when I worked with the Grizzlies, doing a lot of stuff in community relations and just like realizing the importance of making sure that guys are really properly set up. You know what I mean? Making sure that guys grow, like we talked about, making sure that guys elevate, making sure that guys are out in the community, like making sure that guys got platforms. Because I feel like when you're an athlete, when you're playing basketball or football or whatever your sport of choice is, that is the time to utilize your exposure to help fuel your, whatever business venture that you're doing. Like Dame Dash used to always say when I listened to his interviews, he was like, man, I used to tell my artists, okay, whenever we drop this album, that's the commercial for all of our product. You know what I mean? So, with my guys, I'm like, listen, like, if you are big on Instagram, okay, let's not just post highlight reels. Like, let's start posting some other things, a basketball camp, your clothing line, your merchandise. Like, let's use that exposure right now. So when you are done, the momentum is already there. So now what we got to do is like gasoline to it and just let it set on fire. You know what I mean?
So how many years are you in right now with being an agent?
This is actually my third year.
Third year, man.
July 15th to be my third year.
Third year, and you got a few ballers,
Yeah.
Dudes like your boy Lace, who talking to him and just hearing how my dude gets buckets.
Yeah, he buckets, man. He was actually like I've been knowing Lace since third grade, man, and he was one of the guys that I was talking about as far as like, one of the ones that the college coaches was coming to visit. Nobody was coming to visit me. I remember we was in middle school, and he was in the sixth grade, starting for the eighth grade, and I'm in the sixth grade trying to get on the seventh grade team because we didn't have a sixth grade team, but. I used to just watch him, man. He got a little brother that's nice too. His little brother was real nice. But I just used to watch him. I used to be like, man, he gifted. Like he born to play basketball. You know what I mean? And actually again, he's my first client. And even before I got certified, he used to always like, whether he's sending me his contract or whether he pushing me, like, man, you need to get into business, man. You can help a lot of people, man. Like, and he was one of the ones, him, my wife, my mom, I credit them for really just like pushing me to really take that leap of faith, man, and pursue it. My wife, she challenged me like, listen, I hear you talk about this a lot, but you're not making no actions. You're not trying to get certified. So you just talking. So I don't want to hear it no more. Good night. You know what I mean?
So that's this then, like say there's a kid right now in like Monroe, that wants to be an agent, and they're like, I want to be on that level, I want to be able to help these athletes, achieve their goals. What would you tell them to be like the first step to take?
The first step to take, I would tell them, man, to really look themselves in the mirror and figure out why. The only reason why the reason why I tell them to do that first is because, man, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna be a long, bumpy road. A lot of people are not gonna believe in your dreams. A lot of people are not gonna be obligated to help assist in your dreams. And you're gonna face a lot of rejection. So if you could walk away from that mirror and say, I'm willing to go through all of it, no matter what it is, no matter what life throw my way, I'm gonna be this, then you know what I mean? I feel like you just achieved that first step that probably 90% of the people in this world don't achieve. And then after that, just start, researching, start asking questions, start reaching out. You know what I mean? I'm always a resource, man. Like back in my community, every summer, me and Lace, we do this event called Hope for All, helping our people evolve back in our old neighborhood. We partner with the fire department. We partner with the city of Monroe Waters and Park. We partner with the Louisiana Purchase Garden and Zoo. They usually bring an animal out. The fire department, they usually bring, smoke detectors out. Chick-fil-A Raising Canes, free haircuts. The the past 4 or 5 years, man, we've had, probably over 500-600 kids come out, free school supplies. So like in those events, man, come out, and I'm easily accessible, So I'm saying all that because nobody handed me the knowledge. You know what I mean? And I understand why. But with me, I want to give the knowledge away, at least for starters. If you want to become an agent, a FIBA agent, go to FIBA.com/agents. You click the tab and they got all of the information that you need to take the test. MBPA.com, same thing. And but outside of just taking a test, again, just ask questions, research, look at athletes that's in your community, that's in your grade level right now, and analyze them, see what they could do better to build their game up. You know what I mean? Hey, man, look, I like how you drive, but look, man, you need to focus on, your penetration. You need to strengthen your IQ, do certain things just for practice. You know what I mean? But that's what I would tell them, man.
Love it. And just to think about your story, how you went from Monroe, Louisiana to overseas in Turkey, with your athletes, man. Like that's like when you're a kid, you say you're gonna be an agent, but you see it being Turkey?
Yeah, I mean, like one of the things that my dream was to put myself in a position where I can go and visit all of my guys, specifically my guys internationally, because a lot of times they're over there by themselves, not too many people go visit them. You know what I mean? One of my guys, I was like, hey, man, listen, like your next situation, man, I'm going to get the team to throw in some additional flights, man, for your mom. And my mom never going to get on a flight, man. It's too long. You know what I mean? So I always told myself, like, I wanted to make sure that I can go and physically visit my guys and be there for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Spend time with them abroad. And I've been preaching that since I started. And this year was my first year being able to go abroad. I went to Istanbul, Turkey. I went to Bursa, Turkey, and I went to Izmir, Turkey to visit some guys, meet some coaches, meet some general managers in person, strengthen the relationships. And that was awesome. I actually brought my wife with me there for the first time. And then I was able to go to Tel Aviv, Israel, and Jerusalem, and Haifa and Jaffa, Israel. And again, just, showing my guys, hey, listen, man, I'm here. You know what I mean? I want to see you play in person. I want to cheer you on. I'm your biggest cheerleader. You know what I mean? Like I really want to, my goal, man, though, is to be able to do that full time. Where I'm just going to see everybody, in person.
Man, it's gonna happen, man. Like I'm excited to see your journey, cause like I've interviewed so far, like I told you guys, Lace and Marlon, and I see how their potential is just getting started. So it's like they're getting started, you're just getting started, just gonna flourish from there.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And like with Lace, he, I've seen him evolve. I've seen him, get married, start, clothing lines, basketball camps, after school programs, and same thing that I'm gonna do with Marlon, and the same thing I'm gonna do with everybody, with every guy that, every one of my brothers that trust me enough to allow me to be their manager and just help, build their careers on and off the court,
Yeah, the last question I'll ask you too, man. Like I haven't asked you this yet. So, what's the name of your agency? We haven't even got that far yet.
So my agency is called Unison Sports and Entertainment, and I came up with that name. It was unique. Me and my wife, we was in marriage counseling leading up to our wedding date, and the word unison just kept coming up. You guys need to work in unison. If you guys work in unison, you're on the same page to achieve, the same goals, the same agenda. The Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, unison. So that word just kept coming up, man. And I just kind of started researching the word, and I was just like, man, I want to work in unison with all my guys. Like I want us to be on the same page. Like there's no reason that these guys are not on the same page with representation or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So with me, I wanted to just make sure that I can be the type of person that really work in unison and make sure that we're both on the same page. We both want the same thing, not just in basketball, but in life. You know what I mean? And And that's where the name came from, man. And I think it grew on me. I love it. You know, you see how everything I try to do is Unison, from the merch.
You got a little like New Orleans flavor to it, you know, with the
You know, represent for the Saints, man. You know, it's we always gotta
rep the whole team.
Gotta rep for the whole team, man. The Saints, Lakers, the Dodgers, the Grambling Tigers, LSU Tigers, man. Those are my 5 teams.
There we go, man. Yo, Justin, man, I'm glad to have you on and just to hear your story. I think your story is one that's relatable. You know, like so many athletes, you know, so many kids grow up and start as athletes and they're like, nah, okay, I can't play, but how can I be a part of the game still? And and you're doing it.
No, I appreciate that. Again, you know, like, you know, the ultimate goal, of course, man, we all want to get to that NBA, but, you know, he's 400 to 35 to 450 players per year. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's only 60 people getting drafted. Only 30 of those contracts are guaranteed. You know what I mean? So it's like you start looking at the numbers and you start being realistic. Like, all right, so even if I'm not in the NBA as a player, I made it to the NBA with working with Grizzlies. So there's multiple ways, man. And you know, again, I feel like, man, whatever it is you dream, whatever it is that you want to do out of life, man, you just gotta, again, look yourself in the mirror, man. You find out your why and you stand firm on it. Period. And never let nobody deter you from, you know, going off.
Love it. And then social media wise, the website, where are you at?
You can go to my website, unisonse.com, and you know, Instagram, Unison Sports ENT.
Oh man, yo, Justin, I appreciate you, my man. I look forward to collabing with you more in the future.
Man, most definitely, man. Like I told you, we're gonna be locked in, man. Big fan. Man, you know, I can't wait to this podcast continue to grow, continue to elevate, man. You're doing something great. And again, man, I love the fact that you're giving a lot of athletes these platforms, man, because, you know, I want to say this before I leave. Like, a lot of people feel like it's either NBA or bust, and I don't feel that way. You know, I feel like, you know, you got a lot of talented guys that's playing basketball in you know, the international market. You know, and a lot of people, they're neglected, you know, and it's a lot of real talent. You know, actually right now, I was just talking to somebody yesterday, you know, there's projected to be like 9 or 10 guys coming out the first round from Europe this year. You know what I mean? So I said all that to say this, like, you know, you could find yourself in a great situation internationally where you could play in a great country or play in a great league. They give you that true exposure that you need, you know, to get that NBA talent on you, to get those NBA eyes on you, man. So, again, man, I appreciate you for giving these guys this type of platform to come on here and tell their story, man. And I really appreciate you for having me.
Yo, thanks for listening to this episode of the 9 Point Started With a Dream podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please comment, share, leave a review. We would love to hear your thoughts. You can find more athlete-driven content at 9point.com. Till the next episode, you're only one opportunity away. Peace.